Okay, cool. So I'll just start. So I'm Lexi and I'm from Riot Games Singapore. I'm helping them to do some recruiting right now. And I think everybody, most of the people maybe know our company. We are the producer of the Valorant, League of Legends, and Runeterra, and Teamfight Tactics. And we are also like making a new game called Project L, and it's going to be based on the League of Legends universe, and it's going to be a fighting game and quite exciting. So a little bit more about myself here. This is my LinkedIn photo, maybe a little bit different from what you are seeing me now, this face. Anyway, so I'm Lexi and I'm from China originally, and I'm living in Beijing right now and helping Riot Games Singapore remotely for hiring mostly on the art roles, including concepts, 3D, and most of them are like manager roles right now. So I'm also a big gamer. So play games since I was a child, starting with FC family computer generation. And I'm also a part-time artist myself. Sometimes I do some painting. Mostly of them are fun arts. That's why I choose my career to become a recruiter and a sourcer based focused on the art discipline. Also for the games, I'm big fan of Guilty Gear and Hades and all those games produced by Larian Studios, something like that. And that's me. Yeah. So next page, I'm gonna show you guys some of my fun artwork. So it's not the quality to be professional, but I do it as hobby. So that's me. And so I'm gonna start a little bit about introducing what we got the Riot value or company value here. So basically, I'll just show you guys our company's page. You can find it yourself. If you got time, if you want to learn more, just visit our official page and you can find it. So there is our company's value. First one would be player experience first. So we value all our players very much. So we want every player got their best experience when they play our games. We want them to be happy to play our games. So sometimes we think in the perspective of them. So that's how we can keep producing good games. Also, dare to dream. The second one, which means everybody should keep your dream in mind and never give up. Someday maybe you can achieve it. So that's something like that. Be brave and dare to have your own dream. And the third one would be thrive together. We value our team very much. We love teamwork. So just as you playing games, your team members are very important to help you to win the game. So we value our colleague very much. We do a lot of like group activity. We play games together. We have time, and we work together, and we talk our opinions with the team. That's how we work. And also about executive with excellence, which means we achieve the best quality when we do everything for job, for life attitude, something like that. And also stay hungry, stay humble. Like we don't want to be too proud about what we have already done, and we want to keep trying to become better. That's what that means. So that's our company's value. So I will go back and to show you guys our Singapore studios photos is here. Basically, the first one here is the entrance of the office, and we got our cafeteria area, and it's all based on the theme called Arcane, the anime. So you can find the doctor's statue here. And this is also our cafeteria. And the left bottom one is our gaming room, because basically most of our employees are gamers. So when they have spare time, they play game together here. That's our Singapore studio. And maybe you guys also know, we also got studios in Shanghai, in Los Angeles, and also other countries. So that's it. That's about our company. I just want to keep it short and to move on to another topic. Like maybe you guys consider pay attention more about how you're gonna join the game industry as a fresh graduate student. First, as you are an artist, you need to, when you want to find a job, you need to first one, figure out what you really want to do, like what kind of game you want to make. For example, if you want to make anime styled game like Genshin Impact, for example, Mihail do, or you want to make MMO like World of Warcraft, or you want to make League of Legends. First of all, figure it out, what kind of game, what's the style you want to do as a career, because every company have their own styles. So if you want, if that's one is not what's the things you like, then gonna be cause some trouble in the future maybe. So the first one, know yourself, and the second one is to get prepared for it. For example, if you want to join Riot Games, so first you go to the official website to know the company's value, the culture, and if you like it, then you try more to do more research about their, for example, location, their office, and what's the culture like, and what kind of games they are making, and what kind of opportunities they are like opening now, something like that. And then you prepare your portfolio for it, and then you contact the recruiter or the sourcer, or just email them. And that's also take your courage, because some candidates actually they are like super awesome, but they don't just have confidence, so they just don't have the brave to do so. So if you're not sure, then you just send the email to contact the recruiter to ask them if you are like already got enough like craft level or something like that. Just ask, just contact them. Don't be hesitant. If you already make your decision, you want to do this, and you just go and do it. So don't be like, maybe I'm too junior for this, or I'm not ready or something like that. Just be prepared and just feel free to talk with the company's recruiter, and I think you will be fine. Yeah, just be brave and be confident about your own artwork. So relate to how to prepare your portfolio, which is for all the recruiter and sourcer when they are doing the sourcing, and it will be the most important things to look at. When we went through someone's portfolio or the CV, first one, we will see their craft level. For example, if there is a concept art, we will figure out if they get this like body texture right, if they got the shading right, if the quality is like enough. So that's the craft part. If it's an environment art, maybe we will check if the perspective is drawing correctly. And beside of that, we also look at the style. If the style is fit for a project, for example, we got styleless style for League of Legends. And if you are looking for joining Genshin Impact to MiHoYo or the anime style, then it's a totally different thing. So we will look at if your portfolio style is fit for needs. And the third one, we will look at experience. For example, if you work for some big company, for example, Ubisoft, you made amazing project like Assassin's Creed, and we will see that you already take part in the big production. Then you already know how it works when you work in among a lot of people, and you know the workflow. So that's what we value. And also, for example, if you been an director or you've been in the manager role for years, then we will know that if we hire you, then you can work immediately, like to fit in the team, to know what is going on or something like that. And we also treasure the experience, for example, your free time, part-time experience. For example, you draw a lot of fan art online. Maybe you got a lot of followers on your Twitter account. You have a big fandom group fans for you. Then it's also a good thing. And we also will look at your hobbies. Maybe you're a big fan of games, then we know that you're a lover of games, you have passion, something like that. That's also a blessing. And the first one would be the language. So, for example, if you want to work in China, you have to be able to speak Chinese. And if you want to work in like America, you have to be able to fluent in English. That means you have to speak like the native speakers. You just need to be able to use it as your working language, because all your colleagues may be from America or from other countries. And if they're all using English, you will be not able to present your portfolio well or your artwork well if you are not able to speak the language totally, something like that. And also the language also be a problem. And also the interest is more like, if you really like what we are doing here in this company, if you really agree with our value, if you're not, so maybe this is not the right place for you. So just to know yourself, what is your interest really in? Maybe you like anime and go to apply an anime company. It's also good for you, I think. That's about how to become a professional artist. And also, I'm going to introduce a little bit more about like things are different here, especially in China. It's so different. So I'm going to start with the general things in Asia. In each country is so different. In Singapore, I think it's not that much different compared with Western countries, for example, US or Europe. We also use LinkedIn, and we also check artists like portfolio like ArtStation, and all the process would be similar. But for example, in Japan, many of ACG and artists like anime style, so they want to go to Japan, join, for example, Capcom or Square Enix to do Final Fantasy or other amazing project. In Japan, it's more like Japanese artists don't share their portfolio online. You'll not really find them on LinkedIn or other places. Most of them are hiding their names using nicknames on Twitter or other art platforms. So if you want to get a Japanese job, first advice would be learn Japanese, because most of the Japanese company will acquire at least N2 level of Japanese fluency. And also, you need to know that it's going to be quite different to work in Japan, because the local companies use headhunter more than using recruiters to find people. So maybe you can contact some local agencies to help you to locate, to address your company, your focused company. And also you can feel free to just send them emails. Yeah, that's in Japan. In China, it's going to be more different, because maybe you guys already know, or maybe you're not. The government's banning some website. For example, we are not using LinkedIn in China here generally. So we got other applications or website. For example, we got this blue one called MaiMai. It's a Chinese version of LinkedIn. And we also got another one, Lago. It's also like a Chinese version of LinkedIn, but a little bit different. And we also got a replacement platform called GGAC, and it's also an art contest. And it's like a Chinese version of ArtStation. So the Chinese artists would put their portfolio here, and the company would also look at here. And the first one is quite unique. It's also a platform to find jobs here. And it's like more like a WhatsApp or something like that. You directly communicate with recruiters using the platform like a WhatsApp. You can send them like short messages, and it's going to be chat quite cordial. So, and also the language would be a problem. If you want to work here in China, I think you're definitely going to need to be able to speak at least simple sentences of Chinese. Going to be quite a challenge. And so that's me giving a quite very short background of what is happening here in my company and things are going on in China. So you guys got any questions? And I already got some questions here. So I think I'm gonna answer this question first, and to check out if you guys got more questions or you want me to share more about any details. So first question is, what steps do you recommend taking to enter the industry in Asia? Yes, I think I covered it a little bit before. The cultural differences is gonna be like, yes, there are gonna be cultural differences. How I'm gonna put the in that ways? The work environment. I think you can just be yourself. Like, because when I joined Riot Games, I feel like it's quite different to work here because it's more Western style compared with the Chinese style. Like in here, people are more like to express their own thoughts and minds directly to people. So maybe if I'm not agreed, then I will just give my opinion. But in Asia, from my experience, I feel it's a different way. You need to be more like not that straight, because sometimes people will consider that an offended one, maybe something like that. That's a lot about cultural differences. But you just need to like try to fit in, try to talk to local people, like how it works, something like that. I think because in every country it's got their own like social cultures. That's the things you want to, you are going to face. And just do your best at your job. I think you will be fine, and learn the local language. Yeah, that's my advice. So do you think that specializing in the concept of 2D creatures with basic 3D support has good job perspective? Yeah, for the second question, my opinion is like, you need to know what you want to do at first. If you want to be a concept artist, then you can use 3D tools as a support. It can help you to produce better concept art if it's gonna work. And if you want to be a 3D artist, then go the 3D way. So it's a totally different route to go to different job area. Otherwise, you're going to become concept artist or 3D artist. That's a totally different two route in the company. If you are in a small company, maybe you can do both. But in large company, for example, Riot Games, so there can be two different roles. So you need to figure out first if you want to do 3D or you want to do concept or illustration. That's different roles in large company. And third one, like to know how to enter the sector when you do not have experience in this labor sector. I would suggest you apply for internship when you were in the college or university. That would be help a lot. Or if you already graduated and you are not like be able to join any internship, then you just apply those companies to ask if they are hiring for like assistant's job or something like that. Maybe you can got the chance. First job, how to be if you want to be a freelance, then it's another thing. If you want to be freelance, then just draw. Just do your best as an illustrator or a concept artist. Just draw. Make your portfolio perfect and post it online and send them to the hiring managers, send them to the recruiters, and to talk about it. So you can be a freelancer. Yeah. What skills and abilities should I focus more on? I would say if you want to be a freelancer, I think maybe Illustrator or concept would be easier than 3D, because sometimes 3D is more like a group work. Most of them are on-site job, but I also saw a lot of great artists are doing 3D artists as freelance. So it's also gonna be an opportunity. So there is still a chance. So just choose which one you want to do and focus on it and be perfect at it. Then you can be a freelance. What do they look for in concept art visual development portfolio? Thank you very much. For concept, I would check if the general style and the general sense is good, if it looks pretty in the view of our company's perspective, if it's gonna fit in our art style, if this person join our company, something like that, and if the quality is good. By this, I mean, for example, if you draw hundreds of paintings and maybe 80 of them are only like draft, you didn't finish it, you didn't finish the polished part, it not looks perfect, then don't put them into your portfolio. It will become a minus of your portfolio overall. Just put the most accomplished, the best one in your portfolio. Yeah, so that's my advice. So any other questions or any other things you want to know about our company or me or the industry? Anything?
I do have some of them. I
Yeah,
don't know if
please go.
I don't know if the people really want to ask something. I told them that even if they feel shy, they can write down the questions, and I will.
Yeah, don't be shy.
For you. But I do have some of them now. Like paying attention to your presentation, I have one that is. I have a lot of curiosity about this. In Asia, or well, let's say in where you live, where you are set up already. Between companies and studios, do you how can I focus this question? Like, do you usually help each other to improve your business, or is kind of the opposite? I will explain that. It's like here in Europe, sometimes, especially in Spain, because not that much in Europe. In Spain, we usually have a problem with that, and it's like if there are like 2-3 companies, 2-3 studios in the same area or whatever, they become competency. You know, they don't try to help each other.
You mean they work together, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes
something like that. They collaborate with each other.
Yeah, okay. Like you said at the beginning, like they have, for example, you said sentences like they have really pretty nice and beautiful projects like Genshin Impact, etc. And it's like when you talk to people in other areas, like in Spain, whatever, it's like they don't talk like that. It's like they see other studios and companies more like competency, like more like enemies. You know, like we need to fight between us just to check who has the best project or who has the best quality or human quality in the company, stuff like that. And I'm really curious about how is that seen there.
I'm gonna ask the first one. You mentioned in Europe the small companies maybe helping each other or they collaborate. I think it's not very common to see here in China or in Asia in general. They are more like a competitor rather than they're rivals, not really friends. So they don't help each other. And yeah, they produce their own projects. But sometimes they do, in a way, they collaborate. They hold the art competition. For example, the one I already mentioned, GGAC. So that one is a artist competition. A few companies hold this together, and they select the best candidates from there. So maybe the winner, and they will give them money, and they also want to hire the winner to their company to start their career, something like that. That's in a way they collaborate, but in general, they don't work on the same project together. Each company, they have their own project, and they have their own sub-studios to create different projects. For example, Tencent got a lot of different studios working on different projects. And they also collaborate with some local outsourcing companies to help with them to product more art asset. That's how it works. So now it's like a lot of companies like work together. I hope it's answer your question, or you got more questions completely related to this. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. I think you have in the chat, you got already a couple of questions.
Oh, I noticed that there got more questions on the comments area. Sorry, I don't understand Spanish at all. I only know like gracia or something like that, or or hola, but not, I can't read in Japanese. No, I can read in Spanish. So if you guys want to ask in Spanish, maybe Joanne, you can help me to translate the the Spanish questions. And for the English ones, I noticed that here, David said, do you know which companies in Asia have internship contracts for juniors, or what would you recommend to someone who wants to start in the industry? I'll ask this question first. In general, like if you are located in Europe right now and you want to work in Asia, normally they won't really gonna hire somebody from overseas that far here to start as a beginner. That's not happened a lot. You still can try to find it on LinkedIn or our Session, and they got their jobs like post there, but most of them are senior level above, but not junior level or internships. Because if they want to hire somebody overseas, move this person from Europe, from Spain, for example, to China or to Japan, it's gonna cost the company extra money or extra things. They need to do the paperwork. They need to do a lot of things for this person. So they want somebody super senior and super good and it's already got experience. So they don't want fresh graduates. So if you really want to move abroad to start your new career, and my advice is to enroll a local school. For example, if you go to Japan, there are a lot of like game related schools or college or universities. You apply them and you graduated as a fresh graduate, then you will have a chance to join a company as an internship student because you become a fresh graduate locally. You know what I mean? So that would be the easy way. But in this way, it's going to cost you money and time. You need to spend more time to study in a new country with using their language. For example, you study in Japan, you need to be able to speak Japanese. And you need to learn new things, to know new friends. And after you graduate, you got the internship, maybe. And it's just a chance, not 100% sure. So I think the more budget way is to find a more like open company, like a company more close to your location, and to start as a internship candidate. And after you got experience and your portfolio getting better, and you got already like 3 or 4 years experience in the industry, it's going to be much more easier to find a job abroad because you are already experienced. So the company would pay extra to hire a foreigner, something like that, to move you to their country. That's how you're gonna start. Another question to Ricardo. To work on Riot Games, how important is hand painting pen style? Because once I saw an artist from Riot using 3D code to texture. It's really depends on your own like interest, because the most experienced things would be the final result. I mean, we only see the final result. If you can draw, it's amazing. Otherwise, you use 3D support or you use other tool. For example, you use Paint Studio or use Sai or use Photoshop. It doesn't matter. The only matter things is your craft, your art craft. You'll be able to produce amazing art asset for us. That's the most important thing. So the final result would be the most important things. And if you are doing 3D, then at the beginning, maybe it's not important. Otherwise, you use Maya or use Blender. But after that, if you join the company, you need to fit in to know what is the company's workflow, and you need to change your original workflow to suit the company. That's going to be quite challenge. Yeah, I think that's it. So the most important things would be the craft part to get better on your art craft rather than focus too much on the tool you are using. because the tool doesn't make you a great artist. Your hardworking is the only thing to make you an awesome artist, I think. Yeah, I saw hands on. How can I open this? Yeah, me, Gil. Sorry, I can't read your name.
Hi, sorry. How are you, Lexi? Thank you so much for
hello,
coming here.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. The first one is about which is the simple one. It's about which is maybe the huge event or fair in Asia, in this area. I mean, in China, Singapore, or even Indonesia. Which one?
You mean art competition or other events?
In video games, I think video games in general.
In
Talking
video
about
games, China is so different. Maybe you guys also know that. So I'm gonna say Asia in general first, and then I will talk about China. In Asia in general, it also got EVO, that for esports, for game competition. And in Japan, we got Tokyo Game Show, which is super awesome. I've been there once. You can see a lot of big companies' booths and those staff from the companies sharing their new game, something like that. And also Game Jam is also a worldwide thing. And we also got Game Jam in China here. Yeah, that's the events related to games.
To game, but and also related to the artist, maybe.
To the artist, I think there is not really like country big events like that. Sometimes there are hiring effects, something like that. In China, we got it's mostly in spring, and because most of the students are graduating, and so we are holding that event. It's just like hiring event, and we will post it on social media. In China, we got totally different social media, but we also got TikTok. Some social media, I mean by that. So we will post it on social media that there is going to be a hiring event. But I think there is not really only focusing on art. There will be game in general. So for example, Tencent will hold an event for fresh graduates to hire. And there are going to be an event. And sometimes they will get into the school to hold the event, to communicate with the student directly, something like that.
Good. Thank you so much. And I have another question related to the AI. Is just, for example, in Riot or maybe another studios here that you know in Asia, do you know how they implement, for example, this kind of app or like Midjourney or which the Firefly, if they have any kind of like rules, like for example, talking about the concept artist, if they say, okay, you can use the AI, but just only as a reference, or you can use even for your final piece of art. Do you know anything about that, or do you have any specific...
It's a really good question, because really it's a really hot topic during these years. For my own experience and my own opinion, I think it's not really being used generally in the industry yet at this moment, because it's relating to the law, because the art produced by the AI, the company didn't keep the right. For example, me using the AI producing an amazing character, and I'm using this character in my own company's game, and anyone in the world can download this picture and use it to another game. So it's caused problem. That's why it's not protected by law yet in general. So for most of the big companies, won't risk to use it at this moment.
I see. Thank you
it's
so
cool
much.
if you use it as your hobby, producing your fan art or something like that. But in the working industry, it's not okay to use it in general. But I heard a lot of small companies are using it. So I'm not sure what are they gonna solve the problems related to the law in the future. Yeah. Yeah. So the safer choice is not to use it in company right now.
谢谢你。
谢谢。
There is other one in the chat. If you want, I can read it for you. Alex says something like, so would you say that working in Asia is more of a long-term plan, right? Not really sweet for juniors out of Asia.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. What is it mean?
Yeah, if you, let's say, if you decide to go to Asia, you should do it like more in a long-term plan, not for something, let's say, a short time period or something like that. Because
yes, of course.
He says that as according to what you said, it's not really well sweet for juniors there.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone, if you want to make a decision about your career, it's always a long-term plan. Don't be like in a rush, because you can't make good decisions during a rush time. So you need to think about everything, your career in the future. So even though you are planning to join the industry, it's still a long-term plan. What kind of company you want to work, and after 5 years, what kind of artist you want to be, a 3D artist, a manager, or an art director in the future, or you want to be freelance. It's always going to be a long-term. Consider any questions related to your career. So especially to move abroad, to start a new life away from your friend, your comfort zone, it's going to be a big change to your entire life in the future. So you need to think about it a lot before you make the decision, to do more research, to know about everything, maybe to travel there first, to know the local people, to know the culture, to see if you really want to do this or not. Because every move is a big decision related to your career. Hope that answers your question.
I have other one from my side. Talking just about seniors, do the companies usually offer like a relocation package, or is more like they leave to the seniors to, to find out all the documentation and that stuff?
Yeah, for Riot Games, we offer the full support to relocation for their whole family. And that is a benefit. And for other companies, I think you can just go their website or contact the recruiter to check if they got this benefit. I think most of the companies, the big companies, would have this benefit for those candidates if they are moving abroad, because it's going to be a huge cost and they're going to be quite confused at the very beginning to start their life in a new country.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone? Oh, Miguel.
Okay, so sorry to ask so many questions.
It's okay.
Yes.
I'm happy to talk with you guys.
Good, but I would like to know, for example, what is the culture in China about the time to be in a company? For example, I know in Japan people stay there for the whole life in just only one company, but in Europe or in America, people they jump from company to company. So how about in China? People stay in the company for long term, or usually people jump from some place to other?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because I also have been, I stayed my life in Japan for 2 years. Yeah, I noticed that Japanese people never change companies. They work their whole life in the one company. It's because the structure and the culture is different. I'll start with Japan, because in Japan, the salary is based on your experience. For example, you work in this industry for 20 years as an artist, for example, concept, then you get the salary based on your 20 years experience, something like that. If you jump to another company, maybe you got a similar salary. That's one reason. So people won't likely to jump, because even you jump, you got a similar salary, and you change it to a new environment. You need to fit in again. It costs a lot of time. And another reason is that in Japanese culture in general, people think jumping from one company to another is like betraying them. So it's not a good thing. That's why they don't want to jump. That's I heard from my Japanese friends. So yeah, hope it helps. And in China, a lot of people are quite jumpy. Because in China, normally, if you jump from one to another, it means your salary is getting raised. Because it's quite competitive in the market in general. So every company wants to make money. So they want the best artists who made the best project already to join their new project. So they're digging people from other companies, like headhunting them. I pay you more if you join us, something like that. That's why people become jumpy. It's not about loyalty or something like that. It just because if they jump, they got more benefits. That's why they jump. But recently, things are changing. It's like people, like the companies are trying to keep those old employees. They don't want them to jump. So they like raising the benefits to try to keep them. So not really a lot of people are jump like during 1 year or two. Those happens a lot if they are working in a small company, maybe. But for large companies, they are not that jumpy, but they still jump compared with Japanese people. Just for a better salary or something like that. Or maybe a more charming project, because sometimes if a project is not earning money, the company will cut it in most of the small companies in China. So if your project, maybe you will already work for like 5 years being cut it, so you have to jump. There is no choice for them. Yes, that's why they are jumpy here in China.
I see. Thank you so much. And do you know, for example, for you, which is not the best studio? Of course, you are in Riot, so of course it's a very huge and very, very, very good place to be there. But for you, which is one of the ideal place to work there, because of maybe not because of the salary, but because of the environment, good mood with people there, good environment. Any place specific, or any studio, or any city, or any location in China, I mean?
Any location in China, what do you mean by that?
I mean, for example, I don't know, for example, Shanghai is better, or Shanghai or Beijing is better to be there, or the name of some studios that they're famous because of very good environment with the employees there, something like that.
For me, I'm working remotely for Riot Games Singapore. So I'm based in Beijing now, which is my hometown. So I will be able to stay with my family, because I've been abroad to study for quite a few years. It was 7 years in general. So my family was super happy I can be staying home. And I'm very value about the flexibility right now as a remote employee. So, but it not happen very common in Riot Games, because if you are like senior artist, you have to work on set to be able to join the workflow, the art workflow. For me, it's the best experience in my career. I have been to some small companies. The people are super friendly in a good way. They can be your friend after your work. You got more closer to them because they don't have that much number of employees in general. So everybody know everybody. That's a good part. You're working like a whole family or something like that. But the bad part is small company normally don't have the good structure for your work, don't have good work-life balance during my experience. So and I think in general now is my best experience in my career so far. So I think it's pretty cool to work here. And for the city you mentioned, I have been traveled a lot. If I want to choose a city, maybe I would choose Tokyo. Because I think Tokyo is super convenient, but it's super nice to stay with my family right now. And if the company wants me to move to Singapore, I would also be okay, because Singapore is super cool. I visited in this year, and I think it's also super cool. So I'm generally the person can be living everywhere in the world. So it's okay for me.
Thanks a lot.
It's okay. Thank you.
I
I can see another question from Ricardo. Is different to work on Riot Games USA and work on Riot Games China in terms of how you work workflow and pipelines? I think this is a really good question, because we also talk about it within your team. We are trying to like make every studio working in a similar workflow, because we are one company sharing same value and culture. So we are trying our best to make it similar and to make it more productive, to easier to communicate with other studios, because all studios are working on the similar projects, for example, League of Legends. So, but for now, we still got different workflows compared with my Chinese colleague. For example, as recruiter and sourcer, I talk with my colleague and we got different workflows. Because different place have their own market. I'm gonna give an example as a sourcer, me. Also you can understand it as a recruiter. Because, for example, in China, people normally don't use email. So if you want to get a candidate, you need to call their phone number and make a phone call, or add their WeChat, which you can understand as WhatsApp or Line in other countries, the talking application. So it's going to be so fast paced compared with Western world's hiring. Because if you don't call this person today, maybe he will sign a contract tomorrow, something like that. It's very high paced in China. So it requires you work also in a high pace to keep things like running. But in here, in Singapore studio, we still use email. So it's going to be another pace. You don't have to in a rush to do that. So it's quite a culture thing. So it depends on the local market. I believe that in America it's totally another thing. So it's another environment. It's another things are happening. So you need to fit in the local culture and local market to adjust your workflow as a recruiter, I mean. But as an artist, if you work inside the company, I think they're trying their best to use the same workflow and to use the same softwares to keep everybody in the same track to produce the best game. Yeah, I think that's really different. Depends on your location, if you need to fit in the culture, and your job title. It's going to be so different.
I have other question. If no one is
okay,
or don't want to, well, Ricardo wrote down.
Yeah, I see
So,
Ricardo
go on,
brought
go on.
down another question. I have another question. If someone wants to work on thematics for Riot, you have for that, or hire another studio. Have positions on your studio for that, or you have. Yeah, we do got a lot of outsourcing studios helping us to produce content, and we also got our own artists. So they are all like working together. So I would say both. But I wouldn't say it's called hire another studio. It's like more like a cooperation, something like that. Are there much more positions as 3D artists than a concept artist in what's the ratio? It really depends on the time. It's like sometimes we need more 3D and sometimes we need more concept. But in general, in the industry, I would say normally a project, a game production, a game production would need more 3D than concept. It's in general, but in Riot it's quite different because we need more the skins for new champions. We always produce the skins, so we also need a lot of concept artists. But normally, if you are making an RPG game, then I think you don't this company won't need that much concept compared with 3D, because for an RPG you only got those number of characters and it's already been settled, and you don't need to update new costumes or new weapons for them. Then they don't need that much concept.
Okay, so
yeah.
Excuse me. So it depends on the stage of the project, no?
Yeah, and it also depends on the type of the game.
The type of the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you.
For example, if you are talking about a Japanese gacha game, I don't know if you know that. For example, Genshin Impact, they're always making new character. For maybe each month you need to pay money for your new characters, and you need concept artists. You need more concept artists to produce the new character.
Okay.
But in general, for one thing, you need more 3D to compare with concept. But I think my advice is don't let this to influence you when you're choosing your career. Just pick the one you like. Yeah, because otherwise, if you pick this one, that means you like it and you want to do it as your whole career. You want to do it with maybe for the future for 10 years or 20 years. If you don't like it, it's going to be so if you're going to be suffering, because you need to put a lot of time and you need hard work to become good on the same area. So just pick the one you like, instead of if I'm going to be hired by doing this or something like that. Yeah, if you think about the most one is needed in the industry, I think it's maybe VFX probably, because I think everybody is hiring VFX, and we always short-handed relate to VFX artists, and I don't know why. Yeah, so just pick the one you like. You will be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
It's okay.
I have a question.
Okay,
I would
go
like
on.
to ask you about the crunch culture in the company.
The crunch culture? Sorry, I didn't get it.
Crunching.
What does that mean? Can you explain it?
I don't know if you use other, I don't know, name or something like that there in Asia for that. Is when you, let's say when the project is in a rush and you try to meet all the team to work for maybe so long time, a lot of hours, just to finish a stage or something like that. That is crunching. Yeah, here it's called crunching.
Yeah. We got similar things here in China, but we got totally different word. Anyway, not happening in Riot Games, I think, so far. Yeah. I think it really depends on the project manager. If they are managing it well, it shouldn't be happening when you're doing your production. Everything should be planned at once instead of rush at the very final stage. It's not a healthy environment, and it's not a healthy way to produce product. You won't be able to make it perfectly when you release it. That's my opinion.
And related to that, if you do that crunch, do the workers have any type of benefit in terms of, not only I'm talking about money, maybe salary or whatever.
If you work overtime, if you got paid more, something like that?
Yeah, but I'm talking more about that crunch time, which can extend from, I don't know, from some hours to even some weeks.
In Riot, it's not happening at all, I think, because everybody, if you finish, you can leave quite early, and everybody's workload will be checked with your manager. Like they will check if you are feeling alright, if the workload is okay to you, something like that. So every time they will adjust it to fit your speed and to talk about it with you. So for me, I never feel I got too much work to do or I don't have enough to do, something like that. So it will be suitable for my pace. So it's not happening here in general. I didn't heard anybody talking about it. So I think it's not a thing here in this company. But in my previous company, I have been in the 996 policy. It's quite a thing in China. I don't know if you guys know. It means you work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and for 6 days a week. It was quite crazy. Doesn't make any sense. So it's happening in some company, but not here right now. And in my experience, for that company, I didn't got extra paid actually. But I heard you're gonna get extra paid if you work overtime in Japan. It's a sure thing. If you work extra, then you get extra. In here in Riot, it's more like work-life balance. So you need to finish your job within your working time. So I think there is not a thing about this crunch in Riot right now. Hope this answered it.
Yep.
Got more questions related to this? For me, I really don't want to do any more work time, any more work overtime, things like that. It will influence you. You don't have time to improve yourself on your hobbies or your craft or other things, and you don't have time to hang out with your friend. You don't have family time. It's not a healthy environment, in my opinion.
I do agree. I do agree with you. I have another question about something you said right now. In terms of, you said, well, one is about the hiring process, because you said, for example, like there, maybe it depends on the country, but usually it's like you take let's say the phone and you make a phone call, or you use WeChat, whatever. How is the hiring process look like there? I mean, it's like here that, for example, here is typical ways like you send email to the job, they answer you if they are interested or not, and you get an interview with a recruiter. After that, probably technical test, something like that. After that is with let's say the CEO or the art manager, whatever, and they make you an offer and it's done. How different is that process there?
If you are a candidate, you feel not that much differences. In China, it's more like the recruiter found you online and they will make you a phone call or add you as friend through the WeChat. And then you're gonna schedule a time to talk about the job. And if you both of you are okay with it, then you are going to the next step. Like you talk with the art director or the hiring managers, and then to do the art test. It's quite similar. It's just the beginning way is different. In Western world, it's more like email, and in China, it's like phone calls or WeChat, something like that.
And the other question is more related to what you said about if you finish your work, you are done. In that sense, it's like for example, let's talk about the 3D artist. How the 3D artist feels that his work is already finished. I mean, do you have any type of software, or for example, the production manager maybe is able to set up a time in your tracking software, for example, to you, and he like gives you like 30 hours, for example, to finish something, or how is that type of process be managed?
Actually, at the beginning when I joined Riot, I was shocked related to this because here in China we need to like how do we say it in English? I have no idea. Anyway, I need to show the company's manager that I'm here. I started my work, and when I left, I need to let them know. Okay, I'm going home. I finished or something like that. I need to talk with them about it, or I need to put the message in the machine or something like that. But it's not happening in Riot. It's basically working based on the trust. you are hired, so we trust you are amazing artist. So we trust you can finish your work. You will do your thing. It's more like that. For me, it's the same thing. It's like my manager will check with me, have a think every week to see how is everything going. And beside that, there is nothing I need to prove I finished or okay, today I finished my work at what time, maybe at 5 time or something like that, at 5 p.m. or something like that. We don't need to prove it. Yeah, it's quite free.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Anyone would like to make any question? We got already 1 hour.
Yeah, and I want to add thing about the crunch. It's really depending on the companies. It's not like every company in China is 996 policies is always like let you working for so long and pay you so like small a little amount of money. It's not all the company like that, but some of the company are do like that. So just check before you sign over to make sure how is it gonna work. Something like that.
Well, in that sense, even they can lie to you because they can tell you that, for example, we don't do any crunch, and later on, when you are in the project, maybe they change that rule and they said we need to do crunch, or other way we won't get success with this. So
I think you need to talk with the HR department to complain about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's not fair. It's not. I think everything should be on the contract when you sign it. If it's not, and it's happening, if you already signed a contract, it's about you working 8 hours a day and you get this amount of salary, and at the end you're working like 16 hours and you still got the same amount, I think you need to like complain about it because it's not really cool to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Is it happening a lot in Europe?
Quite difficult
some
to
company?
answer, but yeah, some companies do that. Yeah.
Wow, that's not nice.
Yeah, and sometimes
how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? You check before you enter the company and still happen?
Usually, I mean, if the project is in a rush, you just will have to do it because you cannot say, okay, easy, I will quit. It's like a
okay.
bad thing in that sense. It's like something awful that you are making to your company. So finally, I guess most of the people do it. And after, like you said, after that, they complain. It depends. There are companies who take that in a good point of view, and they usually do like a retrospective meeting, and they ask how to improve that to avoid it in the future. But there are other companies who said, okay, you complain, I don't know, we will put a red point into the profile of this guy, and sometimes even they get fired because you complain about something like that. So that's why I was really interested into asking you that question.
Yeah. For me, I think you can, if you complain it's not happening, then just left this company because it's not a healthy environment to work. If you're always doing like 16 hours a day, then it's not good. Yeah. Is it against the law to work in that much long time and not get paid?
Yeah.
Do you guys have the law in like Brazil, Spain, or Poland? But they're still doing it?
It really depends on the country, I guess. But usually, I don't know, it's normal that you sign something like 8 hours a day and you spend finally 9, 10, something like that, even 11. It can be, let's say, quite okay. But when you have to do double, like 16, something like that, it's not legal. It's not legal.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, you get like, let's say, a huge plus economically talking. Like they give you a nice package in terms of salary, for example. But other times you don't get anything. Maybe they they give you, for example, 1 month holidays after that project is ended?
I think it's happening to a lot of small companies, especially because for small companies, it's always going to be like at the very end, behind the release day, it's going to be a rush hour. It's always happening. I think maybe just what we can do is just, as a candidate, what we can do is just like talk about it before you sign the contract to make sure if you are doing overtime, you get paid at least. Something about that to put it in the contract. Maybe that will help. And if it's always happening, I think there is some problem related to the product management, maybe, because it shouldn't be like always like that.
Yeah, I think it comes from the pre-production phase stage.
Mhm.
If they don't plan
Yeah.
it like in a good way, usually that type of situations are common, and it's not good for the artist and for the team and for the project.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone, I think now one more have any question, maybe Clara?
Yeah. So maybe I'll leave my LinkedIn page here to because I saw someone is asking for the contact method. So just draw me DM on LinkedIn or add me as friend. Yeah.
I would just say thank you, huge thank you for having you here. It was really, really great to talk with you, to listen about you, about the culture there, the Riot, all the projects, and you were really nice that you answer everything and you are here spending time with us, like a pleasant time. So thank you very much for your time. It was really, really great to have you.
It's good to share my experience. And if you guys got any more questions related to anything, and I'm happy to answer you, like maybe on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will be able to add you in LinkedIn. So if they have any question, maybe they can write down to you.
Just DM me on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect.
Be happy to answer you guys' questions. Yeah.
Have a nice night, and thank you very much. Nice weekend too, and we will keep contact each other.
Yeah, let's keep contact and hope it helpful. Very nice to see you guys. So bye bye. See you online.